Good afternoon, everybody. Ezra Rozier here. And what a barn burner we have tonight on Sunday Night Football. You got our hated enemy, our arch rival, the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys, traveling to the unfriendly and hostile confines of Lincoln Financial Field to take on the 5-0 undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. The main matchup to watch in this game is going to be the Eagles offense against the Cowboys defense because objectively speaking, even though we hate the Cowboys, you have to be realistic. You got to give credit where credit is due. The Cowboys defense is very strong, particularly in their pass rush. Micah Parsons, Demarcus Lawrence, Armstrong, those guys, they really excel at getting to the quarterback. I believe the Cowboys are either first or second in the league when it comes to sacks. They have a very fearsome front four. And of course, the back end of their secondary, Trayvon Diggs, he's a ball hawk. Not quite as renowned when it comes to coverage, although he has looked better in coverage this year. They have another corner named Anthony Brown, who was most infamous for giving up 4 pass interference penalties against the Raiders on Thanksgiving last year. But the defense, the Cowboys' defense is very strong. In the years past, the Cowboys were a team that was dominated, carried by offense. This year, they've turned out to be a team that's carried by defense. So the Eagles' offensive line, it is a crucial point to winning this game that the Eagles' offensive line holds up. Because I'm not gonna lie, there have been periods this season where I thought that the Eagles' offensive line did not play up to their pedigree, did not play up to their position as probably the best offensive line in the NFL. Week one against the Detroit Lions is a very good example of that because in that game you had Jalen Hurts facing very heavy pressure. He ran, I believe, 17 times in that game, the most he's ever run in a single game. Like you cannot have pressure coming at Jalen Hurts like that. You may be able to get away with that against the Lions, but against this pass rush with Micah Parsons, Demarcus Lawrence, Armstrong, you won't get away with that against the Cowboys. So the offensive line, they have to hold against this Cowboys front four. Jordan Mailata, he is coming back for this game. He will be healthy. That is a big help for the Eagles in this game to help that offensive line stand against this Cowboys defensive line. But the defense, it's really the defense that concerns me about the Cowboys, the defense, because I don't fear the Cowboys offense. Now, no disrespect to Cooper Rush. I mean, he started 5-0. He's won his first 5 career starts, and he's looked reasonably good. I believe he is top 5 in quarterback rating this year. Cooper Rush, he has rattled off 4 straight wins for the Cowboys after their season opening loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Dak Prescott under quarterback. And Prescott did not look good in that game at all. And this is before the injury to his throwing hand, before that thumb injury. Dak Prescott, he just did not look good in that game. Like he got injured, I believe, late in the fourth quarter. For the 3 quarters before that, Prescott, he looked garbage. He looked garbage against the Buccaneers. But it was really the defense. The defense impressed me in that game for the Cowboys because Michael Parsons, he did sack Brady, I believe 2 times, and I believe they gave up 19 points. It was a 19-3 game. The Cowboys defense, but as good as their defense is, the Cowboys defense has a weakness. They have a weakness, ladies and gentlemen. The Cowboys defense, you can run the ball on them. They are susceptible to giving up big runs. That Buccaneers game, while Tom Brady and the Buccaneers passing game didn't look that impressive, the Buccaneers passing offense wasn't that great. Leonard Fournette tore them up on the ground. They gave up a lot of yards rushing to Leonard Fournette. You can run the ball against this Cowboys defense. They may be stout against the pass, but the run is where they weaken. They weaken against the run. And we are the perfect team to take advantage of that weakness. The Cowboys, as good as their defense has been, they haven't played an offense like us yet. The Eagles, they can hurt you both passing the ball to Goddard, to Watkins, to Smith, to Brown, or running the ball with Sanders and even Hurts. The keys to winning this game are Hurts breaking containment and getting those big runs with his legs, as we're accustomed to seeing, and then our running backs, Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell, stepping up. I'm not sure if Boston Scott is going to play in this game because I remember him getting injured against Washington in week 3. Not sure what's the status on him, but Kenneth Gainwell should play. The run game will be key. You got to keep running the ball. So last week against the Cardinals, I thought we made the mistake of getting away from the run too early. So early on in that game, Miles Sanders, he didn't have a lot going on. So we got away from the run way too early. We started doing a lot of screen passes. And although most of them worked with Goddard, we can't get so predictable on offense because the Cowboys, they're going to eventually realize that, oh, they're just going to do all screens. They're just going to screen us to death. So they're going to prepare for that. You got to versatile. You got to make the offense diverse. You got to have the offense mixed up. You got to keep the Cowboys guessing what's coming. You got to keep them guessing. So late in that game against the Arizona Cardinals on the final drive, we were running the ball very well. Miles Sanders, he was putting in work on the ground. And there was that third down play before we kicked the field goal with Dicker the kicker, who was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. That third down play where we threw to Quez Watkins in traffic, I did not like that call at all. You're running the ball well. You're trying to get the Cardinals to burn all their timeouts. You're trying to eat up clock too. Why throw it in traffic to a receiver who's clearly covered up? Keep running the ball. You're imposing your will on the Cardinals. Keep running the ball. I don't want to see mistakes like that in this game. And then the tackling. The tackling has to improve tonight against the Cowboys. The tackling against the Arizona Cardinals last Sunday, it was horrible. It was horrible. The Rondale Moore play on 3rd and 17, a 3rd and 17 play where we let Rondale Moore get all the way up to the first yard line. 17 yards. You can't give up a 3rd and 17. You cannot give up a 3rd and 17. And then the touchdown to Hollywood Brown. The missed tackles, the awful tackling that I saw in Arizona, that cannot happen again. That cannot happen again. And the offense has to be able to keep their foot on the gas. Because last week in Arizona, we were up 14-0. And then for the rest of the game, the Arizona Cardinals, they outscored us, I believe, 17-6. We only scored 2 field goals in the second half. The offense, they have to keep putting up points. Against this defense, I'm not sure that you could get away with just 6 points in the second half. That's not going to work against this Cowboys defense. You got to keep your foot on the gas. Jonathan Gannon, for this defense, I don't want to see Cooper Rush getting all this intermediate cushion, this comfort to just kill us with this short-range intermediate stuff, because I was seeing that in the second half against Arizona. We got very soft on defense in the second half in Arizona. It was prevent defense. It was the defense from last year. Like, don't have the corners playing so far off. Press the receivers. I don't fear the Cowboys offense. I really don't. I don't think that Cooper Rush can win a shootout with Jalen Hurts. How many points have the Cowboys scored under Cooper Rush? What is the most points they've scored under Cooper Rush? I believe it was 23 against the New York Giants on Monday Night Football earlier this year, a few weeks ago. I think that Cooper Rush, if you force him to make those big throws late in the game, I think that he'll crumble. I think he'll crumble. This last game the Cowboys played against the Los Angeles Rams, it was really their defense that carried them. Cooper Rush was kind of a non-factor. He was kind of just riding along for the game. He wasn't really a big factor in that win. But I just don't think that Cooper Rush and the Cowboys offense can hang with the Eagles offense. I'll gladly take our receiving group over theirs. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert. I'd take them over CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, that other guy, Brown, I think his name is. Now, I want to talk about the Cowboys running game. So Ezekiel Elliott has historically had big games against the Eagles, and they have this other running back, Tony Pollard, who's really come into his own the last 2 years. But so the Eagles' run defense, it started out awful against Detroit in week 1. We gave up over 180 yards running to DeAndre Swift and that other running back, Williams. But they've gotten better since then. They've got a hold against Ezekiel Elliott. Jordan Davis is going to be key to that. Jordan Davis will be key to stopping Ezekiel Elliott and what I was about to say. Jordan Davis is going to be key to stopping Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. We can't let them run the ball on us because I fear that more than their passing game. The run game, I believe, can do more damage to the Eagles than their pass game. It's really like this is a must-win game. This is the biggest game of Jalen Hurts' career because you are 5-0. You are undefeated, the only undefeated team in the league. You are record-wise the best team in the league, and you have your arch nemesis, the Dallas Cowboys, coming into your stadium in prime time with a backup quarterback. Dak Prescott's not going to play in this game. You have to win this game, Jalen Hurts. This is the biggest game of your career, even bigger than the Tampa Bay playoff game last year. I say that because not a lot of people had us winning that Tampa Bay playoff game because you You had a first-year starting quarterback and you had a first-year head coach going up against the GOAT, Tom Brady, in the playoffs. In all likelihood, the odds are not in your favor. That's probably not going to end well for you. This game, most people are picking us to win this game, and rightfully so. Now the Eagles defense, I believe the Cowboys defense is better, but that's not to say that the Eagles are slouches on defense. I believe our defense could rise up to the challenge. I mean, did you see what we did in week 2 against Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen? Like, we shut them down. The Vikings are 4-1. The Vikings are a good team. Their only loss has been to us. So I don't want to hear this crap about, oh, the Eagles haven't played anybody. We played the Minnesota Vikings, who exterminated Green Bay in week 1. Justin Jefferson had like 180 yards. And then we beat them 24-7. Justin Jefferson didn't even break 50 yards. Dalvin Cook was a non-factor. I think Kirk Cousins had more rushing yards than Dalvin Cook. I'm serious about that. So this talking point that the Eagles haven't played any good teams, it's false. It's false because the Minnesota Vikings, they're a very good team. They're 4-1. You've got to win this game against the Cowboys. We have lost 3 straight games to the Dallas Cowboys. 3 straight. Now, admittedly, the last game we played against the Cowboys, the season finale, the regular season finale last year, the Eagles rested their starters for the playoffs because we had a COVID outbreak and also because we clinched a playoff spot the previous week against Washington. The Cowboys played their starters for most of the game, I believe over 3 quarters. Dak Prescott threw 5 touchdowns, and the Cowboys beat the Eagles' backups 51-26. But needless to say, it's still a 3-game losing streak. The 2 games before that, the Cowboys, they destroyed our starters. They destroyed our starters. In 2020, Week 16, we lost 37-17. After Jalen Hurts had a strong first half, we were up 14-3. He threw an 81-yard touchdown pass to Deshaun Jackson, but then we got killed in the second half. And then week 3 on Monday Night Football last season, where we got destroyed 41-21, Jalen Hurts threw a pick 6 to Trayvon Diggs. Jalen Hurts, he's had some nightmarish games against the Dallas Cowboys. He's had some bad games against the Cowboys. Jalen Hurts, he's 0-2 against the Cowboys as a starter. We have to see Hurts win this game. We've seen him beat Washington. We've seen him beat the Giants, but he has not beaten the Dallas Cowboys. Since he became our starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts is 0-2 against the Cowboys. That's got to change tonight. He has to overcome this hump that has been the Dallas Cowboys. And we can beat the Dallas Cowboys. They're weak to the run. You got to run the ball. And then as you get the run set up, they're going to fear the run. And that is going to open up play action. And I think A.J. Brown is going to cook Trayvon Diggs. I think that Devontae Smith is going to cook Anthony Brown. I don't fear the Dallas Cowboys corners. I mean, I think that they're a decent secondary, but it's really their pass rush. The Cowboys defense mainly comes from their pass rush. Micah Parsons, he's something else, man. That guy, he is a beast. I like Micah Parsons. He's an extremely good player, and he'll be a challenge for this Eagles offensive line. But you know what? When you're trying to go to 6-0 for only the 3rd time in franchise history, when you're trying to improve to 6-0, you have to take on challenges like this, and you got to get past those challenges like this. And the Eagles, we are built to win this game because, listen, this Arizona Cardinals game, I feel like it was a blessing in disguise, us playing sloppy like that, because the Cardinals game was our worst performance of the season, I believe. It was our worst performance of the season because you had poor tackling, you had prevent defense, soft defense in the second half, you had the offense not being able to do much in the second half, but you still managed to escape that game with a win. And I feel like playing sloppy like that right before this huge primetime showdown against our hated enemy, the Dallas Cowboys, I think that's going to heighten a sense of urgency in these players. Like, we just escaped Arizona with a win, and we very well could have lost that game. If we play like that against the Cowboys, we're going to lose. We've got to really focus for this game. We got to really step up to take on this vaunted Cowboys defense. The Eagles I believe, are the 3rd ranked defense The Eagles are the 3rd ranked offense in the NFL. The Cowboys haven't played an offense like us. They haven't played an offense like us. Jalen Hurts, he can hurt you with his legs, and he has shown significant development as a passer. Jalen Hurts has really advanced as a passer. You want to see an example of that? Look at the deep touchdown, the absolute bomb that he threw to Quez Watkins against the Minnesota Vikings on Monday night. Like, Jalen Hurts, he's really come a long way as a passer. And you know what? For him to solidify his claim as a franchise quarterback, you've got to win this game. You have to beat the Dallas Cowboys. 3 straight losses to the Dallas Cowboys. Our last win against the Cowboys was November 1st, 2020, the Ben DiNucci game. The game where the Cowboys were without Dak Prescott, who suffered a gruesome ankle injury against the New York Giants in Week 5. So they started Ben DiNucci. And Carson Wentz was awful in this game. He threw like 2 interceptions to Trayvon Diggs. He got sacked when he saw the safety coming right towards him. But the Eagles defense, namely Brandon Graham, who had a strong game, we overpowered Ben DiNucci to win 23-9. That was our last win to date over the Dallas Cowboys, November 1st, 2020. That was nearly 2 years ago. 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. We can't go over 2 years without beating the Cowboys. That is absurd. That is ridiculous. You've got to win this game tonight. Whoever wins this game, they are de facto first in the NFC East. This game determines the NFC East control. And the Eagles, if you're 5-1, that's still an impressive record, but you lost control of the NFC East to the Dallas Cowboys. That would be a very stinging and significant loss for this season. You've got to win this game tonight, and I believe we will. And I'm going to be there at this game tonight at Lincoln Financial Field. It's going to be an amazing game. I don't think Cooper Rush can hang with the Eagles offense, but it's going to be the question of, can the Eagles offense overcome the Cowboys defense? And I believe they can. I believe they can. So I believe it's going to be a very low scoring contest. I think the Eagles will win 17-10, and take care, everybody, and go Birds.